small caps represent about 6.4% of the market capitalization of the entire market. Now, typically, who should be investing in small caps? Should you buy a small cap stock or should you buy a small cap mutual fund? Now, how much of my money should I put in small cap? Every company starts small at some point in time. So we're going to discuss today about investing in what we call small caps. What are small cap funds? Every company, even the mighty Apple, was launched from a garage. Every company starts small at some point in time. So we're going to discuss today about investing in what we call small caps. Now, what are small caps? In the Indian context, small caps are described as companies which are listed and which form the 251st to 500 in numbers of the listed companies in terms of size. First 100 is large cap, next 150 is mid cap, and then the next 250 and beyond is what we call the small cap. Now, small caps represent about 6.4% of the market capitalization of the entire market. What that means is that for every 100 rupees that investors are investing into stock market, they are putting 6 rupees into small caps, maybe 15 or thereabouts into mid caps, and the rest goes into large caps. So the 100 top companies get the most money, small caps get a very, very small chunk. Now, why is that so? Because small caps are considered very, very risky. The amount of floating stock is very small. In fact, the market capitalization, that is the number of shares that are trading and the share price, the total value of trading that happens on small cap is less than 5,000 crores. So it's a very, very small quantum of stocks that are trading. So if there is an event like the coronavirus outbreak or the global financial crisis, when globally stock markets fall, that time small caps tend to fall more than any other. So let's say, as an example, large caps in an event like this fell by about 10%, mid caps will fall by about 15 to 20%, and small cap will fall by 30% and sometimes even more. Now, why is that so? It is so because small cap, because it has very low floating stock. When people go to sell, there aren't enough buyers on the other side, so the stock tends to go down much faster. But the same philosophy also works on the reverse. Because there is no floating stock, when there is a buy happening on that stock, the stock also rises very, very fast. Now, typically, who should be investing in small caps? We believe everybody must be investing at least a small portion in small cap funds. Now, why should you be doing that? If you're a person who has a slightly longer term horizon, say 7 to 10 years, and stock market volatility, watching your portfolio down by 20% does not bother you much, then investing in small cap funds makes a lot of sense, especially for creating long-term wealth. Over a 10-year period, while there is not too much of data available, between large cap, mid cap and small caps have generated the highest wealth for investors. But that is if you've been patiently able to wait your way over a 10-year period. So that's the secret of being invested in small cap. Now, should you buy a small cap stock or should you buy a small cap mutual fund? That's the question everybody has. If you have a lot of time, if you have energy, and if you have a passion for it, go for stocks. It's the best way to create wealth. But for most of us, we don't understand what's happening in the stock market. We don't have time, and this is not our full-time work. Then buy into a small cap mutual fund. What does the small cap mutual fund do? The fund manager picks up 40, 50 companies, good small cap companies based on his research, and then continues to hold them with knowledge so that over a period of time, the value of small cap grows and you benefit out of that. Because you're investing in a small cap fund, you get the natural advantage of diversification over a 40-50 stock portfolio, and that helps you create wealth without too much of negatives being played out. So I would say, if you don't know about stock market, if you're not the type to invest enough time and energy, then go for small cap mutual fund and passively build your wealth. Now, how must one go about their task of investing? And a few things to remember about small caps. Always remember that when you invest in small caps, you've got to do it over a 7 to 10 year period. That's the ideal time when you're going to make great money. And I'm not talking about small returns. You can do multi-bagger returns in small caps only if you stay the course over a 7 to 10 year period. So it's very, very important you think in that long term. Second, because small caps tend to be illiquid, they tend to be more volatile. So when the markets are down and correcting or going down, you will find that small caps perform very, very poorly. So quit trying to compare it with others. It's a bad time to compare a small cap stock with some other stock because it's going to perform very, very poorly. Third, the best way to invest in small cap is through an SIP route. Putting money regularly over periods of time can create huge upside for you while also preventing a lot of timing based issues that you may have. Fourth is remember that irrespective of whether it goes up or goes down in the short term, your patience will always get rewarded in the long run by staying invested in small cap. Now, how much of my money should I put in small cap? That's a question everybody has. I would say left to you, but if you're an investor who has a reasonably long periods of time to stay invested and you are bullish about India and willing to take that risk, I'd say you should look at 20 to 30% of your money in small cap. But if you're an elderly person who is closer to retirement or retired, then that number must be significantly lower. So it depends on what your needs are. I would say anywhere between 10% of your portfolio to 30% can be in small cap and will generate a great amount of wealth. Over the next 10 years, as India expands and Indian economy grows, many of these small caps will become mid and then grow on to become large cap. And the value that they will unlock will clearly be visible to you as a portfolio investor. So I urge you to consider a small allocation into small cap funds on your journey to creating wealth.